Each year in the United States, thousands of major crimes go unsolved. When the case has gone cold and police have nowhere to turn, they seek assistance from the public. This is a program dedicated to solving these cases. This is Crime Stoppers Case Files.
Welcome to Crime Stoppers, South Florida Case Files. I'm Dick Masten, the director of Miami-Dade Crime Stoppers. The purpose of this program is to share unsolved cases with as many South Florida viewers as possible, empowering you to do something about the violence on our streets. Every case we feature is unsolved. Every case we feature has a cash reward available. In other words, every case we feature is an opportunity for you to help your community and at the same time earn Crime Stoppers cash without even giving your name. Now let's get started. On September the 16th, 2011, 18-year-old Devon Broughton and 26-year-old Willie Latson were gunned down in the Victory Homes development. Here's the story.
He was a very lovable child, very giving. He's a mama's boy. Wherever I go, he go. You know, he was my baby. He actually is my baby.
I met Devon through his best friend, and it was nice. I sit down, think about it, like the first time we met, and I saw myself like with a baby with him, so that was weird. I used to always be in school and put Devon, like his whole name, Junior, and kind of found out I was pregnant. He was excited because he wanted a boy, but I wanted a girl. I always wanted a girl, but God gave me a boy, and now he's just like his daddy, you could say.
The way it happened, he's such a good boy. I don't understand why it happened to him like that. He was sitting in the wrong place at the wrong time, trying to do a favor for somebody. Well, he actually grew up without a father. His father died when he was 4. My other children, daddy took to him and tried to, help him along the way and stuff and try to talk to him and stuff. He liked to dance. And he liked to play basketball and football. And they gave him a little award when he was small. Willie had a good heart. Anybody that needed help, he would go here see somebody. Even if somebody was on the streets he didn't even know, and they asked him for some money or something, he'd just dig in his pocket and give it to him.
On September 16, 2011, at approximately 10:57 a.m., City Miami patrol units were dispatched to 530 Northwest 73rd Street, reference shots fired in the area. Upon the patrol units arriving, there were 2 victims found shot on the scene. The first victim was Willie Latson, black male. He was 27 years old. Second victim was Devon Broughton. He was 21 years old. One of the victims died on the scene. One died at the hospital. Both died as a result of gunshot wounds from high-power rifles. Willie Latson lived in the neighborhood. He lived there for some time. He had a lot of friends that used to hang around that certain neighborhood. It's a housing development, Victory Homes. The people that live there are decent people. There's a couple of guys that come into the area, cause problems, but other than that, it's a good neighborhood. Basically what happened was the victims were, one of the victims was visiting, which is Devon Broughton. He came to visit his friend, which is Willie Latson, at his residence. He pulled up in a white Camaro. He exited the Camaro as they were having a conversation. 2 black males dressed in all black clothing with AK-47s approached both of the victims, opened fire on the victims. Devon Broughton had a child. He was actually in the vehicle when the homicide occurred. According to some witnesses, it's possible that he was holding the baby and one of the offenders told him to put the baby down, and he placed the baby inside the vehicle. Once he put the baby in the vehicle, he was gunned down at that time immediately. He was gunned down directly next to the vehicle, his personal vehicle, which is a white Camaro, on the pavement. It appeared that one shooter pursued one victim and the other shooter pursued the other victim. Willie Latson attempted to flee the scene by running northbound to an open field, where the shooter continued to chase him and shoot at him at the same time. Once he was down on the ground, He was continually shot. From the crime scene, it looks like the shooters actually stood over both victims once they were down on the ground and continued to shoot them. Neither one of the victims actually had a chance.
I was at work and I was finna serve the kids at work. My boss came back there and she told me, she said, Miss Latson say, Tanya don't sound right on the phone. It sound like it's something not right.
As I'm looking for something to wear to go out, I get a call like 8 minutes later saying, oh, Crystal told me, his cousin, say, Tay, Devon dead. I'm like, no, he can't be dead because he just left my house with my baby and I'm just playing with him, so he's not dead. She was like, I'm not playing. I'm like, you lying, Crystal. And I hear helicopters in her background. So as I get the call, it's like, I'm like, Mom, they say Devon passed. She was like, well, my grandbaby. I was saying, I don't know. Just hurry up and get me to the place.
So I left and I went to the phone. And I say, Tanya, what happened? What happened, Tanya? I said, tell me what happened. And she say, Mama, she say, Devon got shot. And Willie, he got shot. I don't know where he at. And she say, oh, I found him. He's still alive. He was over there. He say he's still alive. I said, Mama, come home quick.
And as I get on the scene, I just see my baby daddy laying there. And to me, it was real.
In 1975, the first Crime Stoppers organization was formed by a detective who believed media attention helped solve cases. Since then, thousands of Crime Stoppers organizations have been formed around the globe with the same mission, encouraging members of the public to stand up against crime. Every 14 minutes, Crime Stoppers help solve a crime somewhere in the world. Get involved.
On September 16, 2011, at approximately 11:57 a.m. in the morning, the victims Willie Latson and Devon Broughton were shot and killed at 530 Northwest 73rd Street. Both victims were gunned down and died as a result of the gunshot wounds.
When I got here, Willie was gone. And I said, where Willie at? Where Willie? He said, Mommy, he gone. I said, go where? He said, he ain't make it. I went rushed to the hospital. They wouldn't even let me see him. Because he had died in my daughter's arm. She had picked him up out there, over there. And she said, Mama, he said he couldn't breathe.
And as I'm behind the ropes, his two sisters came and looked at me and said, Tete, tell me it's not real. And I'm like, yeah, it's real.
This is a case where both victims were unarmed at the time. There was a child involved. They were gunned down in broad daylight. The offenders arrived on the scene, possibly a gray vehicle with tinted windows, possibly a Nissan Maxima or either an Altima. From what we gathered so far, it seems like the offenders might have been there waiting, and once the victim, Devon Broughton, arrived in the car and made contact with Willie Latson, Willie Latson came outside. Actually, his sister was inside his residence. He came outside. They were engaged in a conversation. They were just talking. Moments later, these guys walked up with assault rifles and basically ambushed him. One was a tall individual. His description was slender and tall. The other description was the subject was much shorter than the other guy. So we have one tall subject, one short guy. Both armed with assault rifles and wearing all black clothing. According to some of the information we received, one of the shooters had a distinctive limp as he ran back to the vehicle, to the getaway car, the gray vehicle. That vehicle proceeded westbound from the scene and then northbound to an alleyway. Apparently that vehicle was seen leaving at a high rate of speed from the scene. Now there was also some information possibly about a orange-colored Camaro casing the area prior to the homicide. That was also leaving the scene, going westbound. According to some of the witnesses, there was a getaway driver parked south of the scene. The vehicle was last seen going in a west direction and then north, leaving the scene.
I want justice, but my son's still gone. He's not coming back. The children don't even have a father. They killed him when the baby was 10 months. He didn't even get a chance to really enjoy his kid.
This is Devon Sr.'s son, Devon Jr. He was in the incident that happened with his father. My baby was traumatized for like a week, saying pow pow. That's just wrong. I really want justice for him. Like, my baby to this day still saying daddy, daddy. Yesterday he called for his daddy, called me daddy. I'm like, wow, like when he called me daddy, I don't know what to say yet because he's still young.
Somebody got to have a heart and come forward. I know somebody seen was broad on daylight. Come on. Don't be scared. You ain't got to give your name or whatever. Call and tell it. I want to look in these people's face and ask them why they did what they did right in front of his son.
If anyone has any information or saw anything, please call.
If you know something about this case, you need to pick up the phone and help police take these killers off the streets before they hurt someone that you love. Call Crime Stoppers now. Hello, I'm Dick Masten of Miami-Dade Crime Stoppers. This weapon is an AK-47, being found increasingly used in the shootings in South Florida. It's known on the streets as an AK or a chopper. This kind of weapon is exactly what the gun bounty program is designed to take off of the streets. The Miami-Dade Police Department will pay a reward of up to $1,000 for an arrest leading to the confiscation of one of these weapons. You can call Crime Stoppers. In the early morning hours of November the 27th, 2011, 44-year-old Terry Brown sat in his wheelchair in the 6200 block of Northwest 12th Parkway when he and another man were shot. Here's the story.
On November 27th, 2011, at about 5:19 in the morning, our victim, Terry Brown, was in his wheelchair speaking to a couple of his friends outside of the incident location, which is 6230 Northwest 12th Parkway. Terry had been talking to his friends for probably 20 to 40 minutes. He had been there for quite some time. They were just talking about old times. While Terry was talking to his friends, a dark-colored sedan pulled up on 12th Parkway. Someone exited the vehicle with a firearm. Terry pleaded with him to leave them alone, and the offender opened fire on Terry and the people he was standing there with. Re-entered the vehicle and fled in an unknown direction. When the gunfire started, Terry tried to turn and escape, but he was wheelchair bound, so he was struck in the back as he tried to save his life. The actual events relating to this incident are concentrated. It happened very quickly. There wasn't a lot of time for anyone to react. The victim who survived managed to low crawl to safety. He used his military training to get behind cover. It was a nearby vehicle that he managed to position himself behind to avoid the gunfire, but he still sustained 6 gunshot wounds to his leg. Terry was transported to the Ryder Trauma Center, where he later died of his injuries. He had been shot in another incident several months before that at a store where he was also an innocent bystander. So Terry actually had terrible luck. In both incidents, he was an unintended target of the shooting and just a victim of circumstance. Terry actually has, if I'm not mistaken, 5 sons. They're all young boys. So unfortunately, they're going to have to be raised without their father now. The suspect that we're looking for is a black male in his early 20s with dreadlocks. They were heading north on 12th Parkway.
It takes a special kind of evil to shoot and kill a man in a wheelchair. Do you think this murderer will stop with Terry? If you know anything that can help detectives solve this case, call Crime Stoppers. You can remain anonymous and you'll be eligible for a cash reward. Welcome back to Crime Stoppers South Florida Case Files. I'm Dick Masten. On July 22nd, 2010, at 11:15 in the evening, 11-year-old Dharmaniyah Moore sat in the back seat of his parents' car as it pulled into the driveway at Northwest 189th Terrace in Miami Gardens. Moments later, shots rang out and now Dharmaniyah lies in a hospital bed with severe brain damage.
On July 22nd, 2010, at approximately 11 p.m., Miami Gardens Police Department officials responded to 1775 Northwest 189th Terrace, in reference to a shots fired call. Throughout the investigation, I learned that Dharmaniyah was visiting a friend's house along with his mother and father. Dharmaniyah was getting ready to take a family trip with his father to Atlanta, Georgia for a family reunion, and the reason going over to this residence was just to say goodbye while they were going on their journey up to Georgia. As Dharmaniyah and his family arrived at their friend's residence located at 1775 Northwest 189th Terrace, they pulled into the driveway facing northbound. Dharmaniyah's father exited the vehicle and walked up and made contact with the individuals that live at that house. As he was outside talking, a vehicle approached from the east of 189th Terrace. That vehicle was described as a white, possibly four-door vehicle. As the vehicle approached, the vehicle's front passenger and front rear windows rolled down, which were heavily tinted, and then gunfire rang out. Dharmaniyah was outside the vehicle, we believe, at this time when the gunshots rang out. Dharmaniyah was struck one time in the head. The family then took Dharmaniyah themselves, placed him inside the vehicle, and drove him to Jackson North Hospital, where he underwent brain surgery.
And I'm so grateful because the whole ride there, he never stopped breathing once.
Dharmaniyah is currently right now in a vegetative state, and he probably will never recover from this. The family is holding on, they're praying every day, they're extremely religious, and they're asking your help, Miami Gardens and the surrounding community, to assist them in solving this crime.
The people responsible need to be held accountable, and hopefully one of you out there can make that happen. Witnesses reported seeing a silver four-door sedan leaving the scene after the shooting. Crime Stoppers of Miami-Dade has one goal: to make the streets safer for law-abiding citizens by solving cases and capturing criminals. Now, I'm Dick Masten. Be sure to join us next week for another episode of Crime Stoppers Case Files.